look at some examples of unproductive hard emotion. I want to give you guys some examples so that you can easily recognize these when they come up in your life, okay? So the first example of unproductive hard emotion would be, I think a huge one is not setting boundaries. Okay, this is probably one of the most prevalent things I see in my clients' life. Like, this is what they bring to me. This is what I see so much of, is boundary issues and not wanting to make a change and not wanting to take responsibility and do something about that. Okay, so not setting boundaries in your life is a perfect example of unproductive hard emotion. So it's avoiding telling the friend who's always late, like, hey, if you're going to be more than 15 minutes late, I'm not going to stay at the restaurant. Hey, if you're more than 15 minutes late, I'm going to leave without you. Okay, so unproductive hard emotion is I don't want to say that, right? I don't want to, make them upset or whatever. So instead, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to stew and I'm going to be really upset and I'm going to be angry and think that they're so selfish and I'm going to talk about them, right? I'm going to complain that that person's always late, right? And we're feeling hard emotion, right? We don't want to say anything because we're like, oh, I don't want to feel uncomfortable or feel awkward or have them get mad at me. So we don't want to feel that hard emotion. So we're choosing this unproductive hard emotion. Right? I'm feeling bitter and angry and I'm complaining and, right, I'm feeling negative. I'm feeling all of these things about this person. It's bringing up a lot of negative hard emotion, right? And it's unproductive because it doesn't get anywhere. I'm just going to stew about it and be really mad about it, right? And it's not productive at all. Okay, so that's a perfect example of unproductive hard emotion. Okay, another boundary would be, I had a client last week who was talking about, a friend that they were doing a lot of things for them. And then other friends were offering and they were like, no, I'm just going to have her do it, right? And she was like, I don't mind helping, but I would like a little, it's a lot. And I'd like, a little bit of the load taken off and things like that. And so we started talking about it and I said, what do you think is going to happen if you say to the person, hey, I have a lot going on right now. Can we share the load? What do you think is going to happen? And they're like, oh, well, I'd feel really uncomfortable, and we're going through what they're thinking they're going to feel. And he said, okay, so say you don't say anything. What are you feeling right now? And she's like resentful, bitter, exhausted, right? And I said, okay, I want you to look at the list of those two things, right? They're both hard, but which one is ultimately going to serve you, your well-being, and which one is productive, right? And she was like, she looked and she's like, you're right. I am already experiencing the negative emotion. I'm already experiencing all of these worse emotions, right? These hard emotions because I don't want to feel uncomfortable, right? Or embarrassed or whatever, uncomfortable. Right. And so we made a plan to move forward again, very specifically in a powerful way. Or, it's uncomfortable, unproductive emotion, right? Is unproductive hard emotion. It's not telling, I have people talk about, people stopping their mother-in-law stopping by unannounced, right? And they're like, it's during the workday and it's just, I have stuff I have to get done and I wish they would just give me a call before they stop by or whatever. But they don't want to say that because they don't want, their mother-in-law to get mad at them, right? And think that they're selfish and mean or whatever. So instead, they're going to sit here and feel stressed out and blame and bitter, right? And resentment and all of these things because they don't want to feel the uncomfortable emotion of saying something about it, which would in turn create the result, the relationship, the life, how they want to feel, the well-being that they really want to experience. Right? They're avoiding that uncomfortable, productive hard emotion for this unproductive hard emotion. Right? That's leading nowhere. Okay, the second example of unproductive hard emotion that I see is changing, right? Making a transformation, changing yourself. Okay. So say it's, quitting drinking or losing weight. Okay. So people will say I was just trying to coach someone, or I was coaching someone on someone who's trying to quit drinking. Okay. And they were just really, eaten up about it. And I said, what do you think that you're giving up? What are you focusing on? You're focusing on you're focusing on the pain, right? But you're already feeling pain right now, right? It's affecting your family and your work and your health and your emotional well-being. Like, you're feeling all of this pain, right? Like, you're already feeling the pain, but you're worried about this pain over here. Like, when you give it up, like what the pain is going to be, right? And they both suck. Again, that's what I said. They both suck. Okay. They both suck. They're both hard, but one's going to keep you spinning in a cycle of feeling like shit and getting nowhere and destroying your life. And the other hard emotion, sure, it might suck. Sure, it might be hard, but it's ultimately leading you to growth and evolvement and a better life, the life that you really desire. Okay. But this is what our brain does. It has us focused. It's very scared of the pain of change. Okay. So that's a great one to look at. Is we think that, stopping drinking or losing weight, it's going to be so painful. I'm going to have to be at the table with people eating dessert. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to go out to eat and not get the food that I want, right? But that's unproductive. But you are feeling hard emotion, unproductive hard emotion, by staying where you are and eating the dessert and feeling like shit, right? And not being happy with the way you look and not feeling confident. And that's affecting how you go out and make money and your sex life and how, you feel confident, you feel with your, intimacy and all of these things, how you look in your clothes, how you show up, right? The way you feel. You're already experiencing hard emotion, but you're scared of this hard emotion over here, and your brain is feeding you all of these scary things that are going to happen if you try to lose weight. You're going to have to feel hungry. God forbid, I feel the uncomfortable emotion of feeling hungry and desire, going out, right, and social situations and all of these things. So I'm just going to choose this. I'm going to choose this hard emotion, this unproductive hard emotion of just spinning and being unhappy in my body and not feeling confident, right? So it's another great example of unproductive hard emotion. You think it's going to be hard to change, but it's already hard where you are. The third example I want to give you guys of unproductive hard emotion is staying stuck in a situation. Okay, so situational. So say it's a relationship and you're in a relationship and your desire is to leave the relationship. It's not serving you. It's not healthy. It's not good, but you're scared because you're like, oh, it's going to be, I'm going to have to get a new place and I'm going to have to, start dating again. And that sounds terrible. And I'm going to have to, what if I'm alone and I'm going to have to feel lonely and scared and uncertain. And what about money? And I'm scared, right? And so we're avoiding that hard emotion by choosing the hard emotion of staying in this situation that we know is not right for us, right? That we feel, lonely and, not content and, all of these things, right? We're choosing the unproductive hard emotion, where at least over here, it's like when we're feeling all of those things, it's like we're getting to the ultimate life that we really want. Again, they both suck, right? Having to go out and start over again. I'm not going to say, oh, it's so easy. But again, it can be exciting. It can be the change and creating the life that you ultimately want. Where over here, this is just spinning. This is just keeping you stuck. Okay. Or what about a job? Okay. A job that you're not happy in. Okay. And you're thinking, well, I don't want to be, I don't want to quit this job and then have to go face, finding another job, or what if I get fired, or what if I hate that job, or whatever. Right? So we're like, no, I'll just avoid that hard emotion and just stay in this job that I know I'm not using my gifts, and I know, it's not the money I want to make, and I know, I'm not living up to my full potential, but I'll just stay here. I don't want that that's scary, right? So I'll just stay feeling this. No. Or what about your home, right? Like maybe you want to move. Maybe you're like, oh, I really want another house, or I really want to move to a different state, whatever. But you're like, oh, it's scary, right? Picking up and, moving to a new place. What if I don't make any friends? What if, or that house, what if And what if there's something wrong with it and I have to move all my stuff and right? So we're like, no, I'll just stay comfortable. I'll just stay here. But again, you're already feeling that, yes, that's hard. That's hard emotion, but you're already feeling hard emotion. Being in the place you don't really want to be in, right? Desiring something different, that is unproductive hard emotion. So now let's look at examples of productive hard emotion. So productive hard emotion looks like setting boundaries, taking responsibility and setting boundaries. It looks like, taking responsibility for your own feelings and well-being, right? Setting those boundaries, telling the friend, hey, I know it's going to be uncomfortable for me and it might be uncomfortable for you, but I need to have this conversation with you. It's, it really affects me when you're late. I would just really appreciate it if you would be on time. And if you're more than 15 minutes late, I'm going to, leave the restaurant. Or if you're more than 15 minutes late, I'm just going to leave without you. Okay. I love you, whatever. Face that hard emotion, right? Sure, it's going to be uncomfortable in the moment, but it's ultimately creating the relationship and life that you really want. Okay. Telling the person, you can't do all the favors all the time. Hey, can we split the load? Whatever. Having that uncomfortable conversation is going to be way more productive than sitting in the unproductive hard emotion. Okay. Or telling the person, hey, can you text before you stop by? I'm going to need a text on work days. I get really busy. I would appreciate it if you could just text me, right? Sure, might be uncomfortable, but they can own their own feelings, right? They can own their own emotions and own their own feelings, right? Sure, it's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel some discomfort in your body, but that is productive hard emotion. Productive hard emotion leads to the desire that leads to the results that you really want, okay? It is worth feeling it because it ultimately gets you to the life that you really want and how you want to feel. The second example of productive hard emotion is making the transformation, like we talked about, losing weight. Okay, sure. Is it going to feel hard sometimes to have to say no to the cupcake and the pizza? Sure. Are you going to have to go through some initial hunger pangs and feeling desire and feeling like you're missing out? Sure. But eventually, my clients, we get to where we don't even want the pizza. We don't even want the cupcake. We don't sit there white knuckling and feel like that. We get to the place where we don't see ourselves as that person wanting those things. We're like, no thanks, I don't eat cupcakes. No thanks, I don't want the pizza. Right? Are you going to have to feel some hard emotions, some in your body to get to that? Sure. But is it worth it? Or would you rather just sit and feel not confident and unhealthy and have no energy, right? Which hard emotion do you want to feel? Right? The productive hard emotion will get you what you want. It will get you to the life and the results that you really want. Or quitting drinking, right? Is it going to feel hard? Is it going to feel like, you're missing out and you're not as funny and social, right? And you're missing out on everyone, or how are people going to look at me when I say I don't want anything to drink? Is it going to feel uncomfortable? Sure. But you have to outweigh, what is more uncomfortable? Losing your marriage and your family and not being, there for your kids and, affecting your career and all of those things. You have to weigh out, which discomfort, which hard emotion do I want to feel? Which one is ultimately going to get me what I want? And then the third productive hard emotion is transitioning and evolving, right? That relationship. Right? It would feel uncomfortable to go out and face things on your own and look for a new relationship or, be alone and feel lonely and learn to grow and evolve and step into yourself. Is it going to be all peaches and daisies? Probably not, right? You're going to go through hard emotion. And again, you have to decide, or do I want to sit here and know that I'm just stuck in a cycle that's not right for me? Okay, one is at least I'm learning and growing and discovering what is right. Or the job we talked about. Sure, it could be scary to quit your job and go find another job, right? But that is productive hard emotion. It's pain with a purpose. Okay? Or home, like we talked about, finding a different house, moving out of state, whatever. The people who create results, the people who create extraordinary lives, They choose the productive, hard emotion. They're like, yeah, that's going to be hard. That's going to be uncomfortable, but I'll choose that over this unproductive, hard emotion. This hard emotion I'm already feeling. When you learn to choose the productive, hard emotion, you will consistently move forward in a powerful way. That is when you will create an extraordinary life. That is what it takes to create an extraordinary life, to get the results in the life that you really want, okay? Now I'm going to give you a quick process because I have a client to get to. I'm going to give you a quick process. So how do we use this concept of choosing the productive, hard emotion to our benefit? So here's the takeaway. Here's your actions. Number 1, we need to learn to recognize it. We need to learn to look at it for what it is and say, okay, I'm feeling this hard emotion. This is unproductive, right? This is getting me nowhere. You know, stuffing things down and stewing about things or not being happy in my situation. Like, these are all unproductive, hard emotion. Like, I'm choosing to feel hard emotions that get me nowhere. Okay. Versus productive hard emotion. We look at it and we say, yeah, that will be uncomfortable. That will be hard, but that's productive. That's worth it, right? It's pain with a purpose. Okay. The second step in this process is we make the productive hard emotion seem juicier. Like, can we make the productive hard emotion seem juicier and like more desirable? Okay. And there's so many people who live by the concept. Like, I had someone comment on my things. They're like, well, when the pain of staying where you are is greater than the pain of change, that's when you'll finally change. And I totally agree with that, right? That's why I'm big on like having a deep reason why. I'm big on that. But do we have to wait till things get so dire, right? Like, most people are like, well, when it gets unbearable, then I don't want to live a life where things have to get so dire and so rock bottom that then I'll change. Okay. So how can we tip those scales? Right? How can we speeden up that process so we don't have to wait till things get so painful in order to make a change? And that's what I'm talking about in making the productive hard emotion seem more desirable, seem juicier, seem like I want it, right? Let's speeden up that process and choose that, like have our brain and have ourselves like choose that in an easier way, okay? And we do that by always taking a look at your thinking, okay? Because that's your brain. We got to take a look at your thinking. So if you want to focus on choosing or get yourself to choose the productive hard emotion versus staying stuck in the unproductive hard emotion, just look at the thing you want to change, right? Take out a piece of paper, and at the top of that paper, put the goal, right? I want to move. I want to move out of state. I want to find another job. I want to quit drinking. I want to lose weight, whatever it is. Put the goal at the top of the paper, and then on one side, write why I want to. Why I want to. What are all the results I'm going to get? Why I want to do that thing. All of the results. And then on the other side, put why I'm scared, right? Why I don't want to, why I'm scared, what I think I'm going to be giving up, okay? Like what I think it's going to cost me, right? And write all of those things. And then I want you to look at those two lists and see which list you like better. See which one inspires you. Because if we can take action from desire and passion and excitement, it changes everything. Okay, like we think that this change has to be so scary and so painful. But what if we could make decisions from passion and excitement? I had my coach say that to me. She's like, does it have to be this scary, serious thing, or can it be exciting? And I'm like, it just blew my mind. I'm like, that just changes everything about the way we look at change. Right? Can we make the choice and make our decisions from desire and passion and excitement rather than from pain and suffering and what it's going to cost us? Okay? Focus on what you will gain. What if it could be exciting? Okay? And that is what I have for you today, my lovelies. I have to get to a client. This right here, this work will change the life that you create and the results that you are able to create. And this is the deep work that I do with my clients on a weekly basis, right? These are the things we discuss. These are the concepts that we practice. We don't just learn, we practice, we implement them until it becomes the way we live our life. It changes everything about the life you are able to create. If you want to experience coaching, if you are feeling stuck, if you want to create new results and you're just wondering why you can't do them or why you can't stick to them, and you want coaching, you can get a free coaching call by going to jacquelineemery.com/consult. We will have an hour free session. You can get a taste of what coaching can do for you, and we can talk about my program and coaching and how that can help you create and intentionally create the life that you really desire. All right. I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.